players first. Is the current system fair to the players?
More than fair. Way more beneficial than I think it's ever been, including 20 years ago,
Why?
18 years ago. Why? Because
people don't know when Doug says 20 years ago, 18 years ago, when Doug played. Doug was a big, if people don't remember, Doug was a big time college basketball player.
So I appreciate that. But, yeah. I mean, Chris, you have 2 kids in college, right? Think about how much more difficult it is to get kids into college than it ever was, yep. Let alone pay for college. And then, of course, the post-career benefits are exponentially better, including the second you leave now. There's first the 4-year scholarship. It's not a 1-year scholarship like it used to be. It's a 4-year scholarship. And anytime you leave, by rule, if you leave in good academic standing, when you return, you know, if you want to transfer, if you want to go and be a professional basketball player or a football player, they have to put you back on scholarship, and you can also learn to coach and not count against the number of coaches you can have on the field or on the court. I think the benefits are great. I think the NCAA has a couple of challenges. One, and the biggest one, is they can never control the narrative. Right? This is about cheating. This is about rules and coaches allegedly or agents allegedly violating those rules. That's what this is about. This is not about pay for play. That's a valid discussion to have, but it really doesn't have a lot, or if anything, to do with the Sean Miller or the Rick Pitino situation.
Okay, just so you're describing what a great deal it is for the players. So let's just offer that to them and see. Like, if it's such a great deal, then there should be no problem with allowing some guys to take the deal you're saying, some guys to take the deal you're saying plus money, some guys to take the money instead of the deal you're saying. Like, if what you're describing is true, that it's fair, then we have no problem here. Then just have that be on the menu of options for players.
There is a menu of options. You don't have to go and play basketball in college. You can go play in the G League. Right out of high school, and if you can get a shoe contract, get a shoe contract. You play for 1 year, then you can make yourself eligible for the draft.
But if it was, you understand, I know you do, we are artificially setting a cap on what these players can make that we don't do to any other college student. You had an athletic scholarship to college. I had an academic scholarship to college. I still got paid doing radio while I was in college. At no point did I lose my eligibility to go to broadcasting classes. At no point did all of a sudden they say, Nick, you can no longer participate in the student radio station. I had a good friend named Scott Spinelli. I don't know if he was on scholarship or not, but he wrote a book while in college, made money from that. At no point did they pull him out of class. Like, we only do this to football and basketball players.
That's not true. That's not true.
What do you mean?
First of all, part of the issue that no one has discussed is Title IX, right? I can't compensate you, because if I do, I have to compensate all of the other athletes, the water polo players, the women's basketball.
You can allow Nike to compensate them.
I understand that, okay? But then if you allow Nike to compensate them, all of a sudden, now they become, every benefit they have becomes taxable. Okay? This isn't a tax-free system. Anything like...
That's fine.
That's fine?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, go to Michigan.
Pay taxes like everybody else.
Okay,
so
you're
making money.
No, the problem becomes you have to pay taxes on the benefits that you receive.
So then they'll turn it down, Doug. They'll turn it
They're
down.
allowed to turn it down now. Nobody forces you to go to college. Nobody forces you to go play basketball in college.
I think one thing
Nobody forces you to go play football in college.
One thing you're saying, they do get a benefit of exposure by playing in the NCAA that they wouldn't get in the G League, that they wouldn't get overseas.
Which is the same thing he didn't
I get that. However, what he's saying is that you were able to, let's say your specialty was broadcasting. I know you played ball as well. You were able to work in a field related to your specialty, get paid any amount, and still go to class.
I actually
these athletes are not able
That's
to
not true.
Hold on. They
true.
can't get paid according to their likeness. A basketball player in NCAA cannot get paid for doing something related to basketball. That's his specialty.
That's actually technically true in terms of likeness, but in terms of paid to play basketball, you can't. But you get money for camp. You get money. I actually did broadcasting, even though I wasn't a broadcasting major. I actually tended bar at Willie's Saloon. So there is other ways you can make up to $2,000.
Yeah, you can have a job like every.
I understand people think it's just so simple. The Olympic model. Okay. First of all, anybody who thinks Stan Van Gundy said one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a human being who's really bright say, where, one, he called the one-and-done rule racist, when the one-and-done rule is agreed upon by the NBA, PA, and the NBA. It has nothing to do with the NBA. So by what he's saying, that would make the NBA, PA racist. But he also said that that it's the worst organization in sports, or the most corrupt organization in sports, like FIFA, IOC.
Okay, so
do we pay any attention to this?
Let me just say this about Stan. I think what he's referring to is the concern, the overwhelming concern about football and basketball players being paid at a young age as professionals. Even when they can come straight out of high school, everybody was like, "Oh, you can't let them out of high school."
Of course,
when in tennis, in baseball,
that's not true.
That was true.
That's not true.
No. Let me finish.
Okay.
There's always been hand-wringing over a football and basketball players being paid at 18, 19 years old. Always this concern that there hasn't been in all these other sports, tennis, golf, baseball, when 18-year-olds and even younger get paid like professionals. Now, I will agree with you on this. These rules in basketball and football were put in place when basketball wasn't necessarily all black, or football. So I don't think the genesis of it was we want to hold these black athletes back. Right. They have just proven to become the majority of the basketball and football players. But that concern, why is there so much concern about the black kids getting their education that there isn't
because they don't,
other kids?
That's a very good question. That's actually a great point. Okay, and the concern is because there isn't equal opportunity for black athletes or black students to get a college education. It's a huge problem in our country, correct? Yes. Living in the inner city, you go to any of these colleges.
So then compensate for that by going to get students in the inner city, not just athletes.
Okay, but we're creating a path for black students, black student athletes to get an education. That's the win here. That's what this fight was supposed to be about. And yet we're like, oh, pay them a couple $1,000s. Like, first of all, let's start with, they don't actually have any value. Their name recognition and likeness doesn't have any real value. If it did, then why aren't minor league sports sustainable? Why is there no minor league football? Why is there no
schools making money off jerseys with the player's name on the back?
I'm going to jump in.
But what?
If Duke is making money off of Marvin Bagley,
but they don't make money off of Marvin Bagley.
Really?
Can you
no, they make money because it's Duke basketball.
Could they sell a jersey that had Marvin Bagley's name on the back? And it's the best-selling jersey. I'm just throwing it out.
Maybe. So
that's making money off of it.
If I may, stop for a second, because Doug keeps saying things aren't true. So I'm going to say some things that are true.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to have this debate exclusively on your terms, because it's an absurdity. Here are some things that are definitely true. The scholarship model was deemed fair before there was $1 of television money. Yep. That is a fact. The scholarship model was deemed fair before the highest paid basketball coaches in the world were college basketball coaches. The scholarship model was deemed fair before we had strength and conditioning coaches making hundreds of thousands of dollars across multiple sports. Here's another thing that is true. You say you don't have to go to the NCAA to make the NBA. You know what you have? You know what you have to do?
These are good points,
to make the NFL.
Counterpoints to them.
Okay, hold on, Doug.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a college or a pro football player who didn't play college football?
No.
Okay, so you have to go play college football for free for 3 years, wait, in order to have a chance to make the NFL, unless you maybe played rugby in Australia or you were a foreign kicker. There are a couple examples, that's about it. What we also know is this, you keep explaining, you're like, oh, but if they take the money, then the taxes, and nobody knows how to pay taxes in this country, and there's this amazing deal. If you're correct, then let's try it and see who turns it down. If you are correct that the best option is the one they're getting, then there's no freaking problem here, because they'll all take it. You know it's not the best option. And the idea that because it benefits, I actually agree with one thing. It benefits more people than it hurts. There are more student athletes benefiting from the NCAA model than it hurts. But you know what?
99% of them.
That's great. That's not how we do things in this country.
Yes, actually, that is how we do things.
Oh, really? Okay.
That is actually. Hold on.
No.
Wait. Now it's my turn. Okay, let's start the part I didn't get to with Chris. Why did the one and done rule go away?
I know it's the NBA PA.
I mean, why did the straight out of high school go away?
The NBPA.
Right. And why?
You're right about that.
But wait. But why?
They wanted veterans to get, they didn't want these young kids out of high school who weren't ready to play in the NBA.
Correct.
To take these veteran positions.
No, it wasn't just the veterans
position.
position.
The league would, not position, I mean position on the team. Where you don't get paid.
The league would tell you that
they didn't want to be in high school gyms.
They didn't want to be in high school gyms. They were tired of entitled high school athletes coming not ready. Every GM, most of the great majority, the minority was LeBron and Kobe.
Hold on. Then don't debate Van Gundy. That is not the argument either one of us are making.
Now let's get to yours, okay? Yeah. With the points. First of all, the reason the strength coaches are compensated is because their only assignment is to work with the student athletes to get them ready for professional sports.
Because they have a surplus of money. It's the reason they can make that money.
But they have a surplus of money. What is the money from? Okay? The money for basketball. Basketball doesn't make a bunch of money for a university.
It would make a lot more money if the coach didn't make $8 million a year, Doug.
You're talking about there's one coach that makes that kind of money. One.
Okay,
Mike
there are more that make three.
You're talking. Yes, because Izzo has done it for 25
the Ohio State
years.
Coach has it. He's making $7 million.
That's because he's making $7 million because they bought him out of his Butler contract. Still, he's not going to make $7 million for the life of it.
Doug.
And by the way, he's worth it. He's absolutely worth it. Because players come and go.
Some of the players are worth.
No, they're not. If they're worth it, then they can go on the open market.
Why not make the open market college?
Because that's not what college is.
There you go.
That's not what college is.
Hold on.
What do you mean this is no longer what it is?
Amateur basketball.
Yes, it is.
If it was amateur basketball, the coaches wouldn't get paid the millions they are. They wouldn't have the billions of TV dollars.
It's all consider what you consider amateur athletics. Okay, if you want to consider this a job, that's great. Okay, it's a job you don't pay taxes on. It's a job to which you can only work 20 hours a week. It's a job to which you get all the medical benefits and yet you don't pay any taxes on it.
So then
it's a job to which, even though you're not actually qualified for it, you can get it, and then they can't fire you. You can't be fired as a college athlete.
I'm just curious. Then why? Then why are you arguing against it? They would just take your deal. You keep proposing.
Everybody does take your deal.
Because
no one goes to the G League.
Doug.
Why don't they go to the G League? Explain to me.
Because of the tradition that we're all used to.
Which is the only reason people watch. Which is the only reason people watch college basketball.
The only reason
is the bracket
tradition.
Is the bracket and the logo.
I'm gonna. You said the way we do things in this country.
Yes.
It is patently false. The idea that what we do is we look at the whole room and say, what is the most fair compensation structure? And we average it out to give everyone the same, no matter what he deserves, what I deserve.
It is not equal. It is not equal. It is absolutely positively not equal. What the water polo player gets and what the college basketball and college football player get is not equal. They don't get equal promotion. They don't get equal travel. Okay, so it's not. What I said was 99% of the kids benefit greatly from it. The other 1% are going to benefit post-college, whenever they want to leave. The football player, the basketball player. And that is the exact same as the regular student. Whatever you achieve in college, you get rewarded in your profession. Therein lies the parallel.
The regular student can go out and work while they're still in college.
Right. Tell me the regular student who kills it professionally while being in college.
You have the option. That's all we're saying.
We have to break it there, but that's all I have to say about that. I'm exhausted.